In 2013, an engineer at a British games company went looking through a room of old backup tapes and found one that should not have existed. On it was a complete copy of RuneScape, exactly as it had been on the 10th of August, 2007. The version from before the update that made the game's own players riot for a week. Jagex had never really kept copies of its own game, so almost every other version of RuneScape was already gone forever. And when they realized what they were holding, the company did the strangest thing of all. It refused to decide what to do with it. In a bedroom in Nottingham, two brothers, Andrew and Paul Gower, building a fantasy world out of nothing but code and running the whole thing off their parents' house. In January 2001, they put it online. Free. No box, no publisher. And here is the bet that made them. Because it was not really a game design decision. RuneScape ran inside a web browser. In 2001, that was a serious technical compromise, blocky and small and slow. It was also the only way a 14-year-old could play a proper multiplayer world on the family computer without ever asking permission to install anything. No download, no CD. Just a link on a school library machine at lunchtime. 1 million free accounts in the first year. When they added a paid membership in February 2002, 2,000 people subscribed in the first hour. By May 2007, Jagex was reporting 9 million free players and 1 million paying subscribers, and Guinness had RuneScape in the record books as the most popular free MMO in the world. Which created a problem the Gowers never designed for. Where there are millions of players, there is real money. People were farming gold with scripts and selling it outside the game for actual currency, industrially, and every farmed coin came out of somebody's afternoon. So in November 2007, Jagex launched the Grand Exchange, an automatic marketplace where you posted what you wanted and the game matched you with a seller. It is genuinely a good piece of design. Most big online games have some version of it now. Then on the 10th of December, they closed the doors. Free trading between players was capped, new accounts first, and everybody within weeks, so you could no longer simply hand a friend anything. And player versus player combat was pulled out of the wilderness, the lawless zone in the north that was the only place in RuneScape where you could actually lose everything. The reasoning was sound. You cannot sell gold to a stranger if you cannot give it to them. But the two things being killed to stop the cheating were the two things that made the world feel real. The players did not write polite forum posts. They gathered in Falador Square on World 66 and rioted for the best part of a week. They chanted, "We pay, we say." They bought pink skirts from the clothes shop in Varric and wore them as a uniform until the protest had a color. Some of them killed their own characters on purpose so the square would fill up with gravestones. Subscriptions fell by 60,000. Jagex held the line for 3 years because the alternative was handing the game back to the gold farmers. Then in December 2010, it did something unusual for a games company. It asked. 1.2 million votes came back, 91% in favor, and on the 1st of February 2011, free trade and the wilderness came home. And it did not fix it, because you cannot put a year back. The game had spent 3 years moving on, and what people actually missed was not a feature, it was a version. Worse, that version no longer existed anywhere. Jagex would not start keeping systematic backups until 2012. Every RuneScape before that had simply been written over by the next one. Then in November 2012 came the evolution of combat, the biggest change Jagex ever shipped. Cooldowns, ability bars, the whole combat system rebuilt into something modern. By February, about a quarter of the player base had walked out. Which is why, in early 2013, the chief executive told his technical director to go and find out whether any old build of RuneScape still existed anywhere in the building. And by pure chance, in the archives, there were 2 tapes. One from March 2007, one from the 10th of August 2007. The August tape was the more complete of the two. There was no player data on it, no accounts, no bank, no saved characters, just the game. Which means this was never a remake or a remaster or a nostalgia mode. It was the actual 2007 software, restored onto a server, 16-bit haircut, and all. Now, the obvious move is to switch it on quietly and see who turns up. Jagex did the opposite. On the 13th of February 2013, it published the whole thing, 4 vote thresholds, and put it to a poll of its own paying players. 50,000 votes, and the old servers open, but with no development team and an extra fee.
$250,000 and you get a small team building for it. $500,000 and there is no extra charge at all. $750,000 and you get a big team and a free version for everyone.
The minimum fell so fast that Jagex opened more than 50 Old School servers on the 22nd of February before the vote had even finished, and gave a free month to everybody who had voted. The final count came in at 449,351.
Short of 500,000, Jagex handed over most of that tier anyway. It dropped the extra fee, for 6 months at first and then for good. It gave the game a real development team, and it made the promise that turned out to matter more than either. The players would vote on what went into their game.
And that stuck. More than a decade later, no new content enters Old School RuneScape unless around 70% of eligible players vote yes. Not the developer's call, not the owner's call.
Today, Old School RuneScape peaks north of 200,000 people online at once, roughly 8 times the modern version it was supposed to be a nostalgic footnote to. Jagex sold in 2024 for £910 million, and the most valuable thing in the building started as a backup tape that nobody had meant to keep. Here is the bit I keep turning over, though. That 70% rule means Old School RuneScape can never make the mistake that created it. It also means it can never take the risk that built it in the first place. So which is it? The healthiest relationship in gaming, or a museum with a subscription fee? Tell me below. Press X to continue.
If you want more stories behind the games you grew up on, you know what to press. Hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.